Baseball scores. The Yankees. Phil Niekro gets his 300th career victory. But of course, Toronto has the last laugh. They will be in the League Championship Series against the Kansas City Royals starting Tuesday night here on NBC. But a big milestone for Niekro.
Oldest man ever to reach that plateau.
300 wins, Phil Niekro. But we look forward to seeing the Blue Jays in the League Championship Series 8 o'clock Tuesday night against Kansas City here on NBC. 2nd and 6 for the Oilers. Moriarty gets the call and is stopped after a short game. Tom Jackson back in just off injured reserve makes the stop for Denver.
This is where the Oilers are going to have to make the Broncos respect them as a football team. Between tackle and tackle. Button up your chin strap, and here we come.
Check the other scores. The Raiders 7-3 over Kansas City. Seattle has added another field goal, 6-0 over the Chargers. 3rd down, 4 yards to go for the Houston Oilers.
He's been rolling out a lot in this case, Tom.
Big play for the Oiler offense. And he didn't get it off in time. What happened that time, Reggie? Was Moon checking off and just took too long?
Well, I think he saw something that he didn't like.
Delay game prior to the snap. Number 1, offense, still 3rd down.
He saw a defense he didn't like. He tried to audible out of it. It took too long, and of course they got called for the delay.
And again, the big mistake, the penalty, perhaps takes them out of a drive. Now they face 3rd and 9. As you see, the Jets have come from behind to go ahead of the Bengals at halftime.
They're fighting very hard, the Oilers. They're trying to control this game in some fashion, and plays like that actually are a negative influence on what you're trying to do.
Rams trying to stay unbeaten, 6-0 over the Vikings. 3rd and 9 now for the Oilers. Mark the ball back at the 43. Moon, complete.
He dropped it.
And now he dropped it. It'll be incomplete pass. Intended for Dressel. Chris Dressel, 6'4", a 3-year veteran out of Stanford. Tony Lilly put the hit on him and then coughed the ball up. It'll be a 4th down situation for Houston, and it's been a long afternoon for quarterbacks, including Warren Moon of the Oilers. Watch his reaction this last time.
I don't blame him here because I feel Dressel should make this catch. He knows he's hitting right there in the hands, and he just doesn't hold on to it.
Punting situation, Lee Johnson, who's had a good afternoon here in the thin air of Denver. Gerald Wilhite, single safety for the Denver Broncos. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Denver about to get the ball, leading 10-3. Wilhite can't get to it. It goes out of bounds, and another good kick. This one will be marked at about the 15-yard line of Denver.
That's an outstanding young kicker, Lee Johnson. And the Oilers have the #1 punt coverage team in the National Football League.
Johnson, the rookie out of BYU, has averaged about 43 a kick coming into today's games. Hope you'll join us next Sunday for more NFL action here on NBC. Regional coverage, Pittsburgh against Dallas, Cleveland at Houston, and Denver at Indianapolis. Those are the early games. And, of course, Buffalo at New England and Kansas City at San Diego, all starting with NFL 85 at 12:30 Eastern.
Don't forget to stay with us for our halftime show with Bob Costas and company.
1st and 10 for the Broncos from their 19. Winder takes a hit in the backfield from Avon Riley, the inside linebacker, and a loss on the play of a yard or so. Winder expected to have a big afternoon against the Oiler defense, which has been kind of weak against the rush all season, but so far they played it well.
Here's Winder. Runs very well inside. That's Avon Riley, the enforcer on this Houston Oilers football team. Makes a tackle that lasts.
See his tackle total, 42 coming into today's game. Give a yard to Winder on the last one. 2nd and 9. Elway again being chased. And will get out of bounds after a gain on the play. He was being tracked and was forced and flushed out of the pocket by Mike Stensrud, but able to scramble for a gain on the play. You see that he is the leading rusher among the quarterbacks in the AFC, and in fact in total yardage, passing and running, he is the #1 quarterback in all the NFL.
I don't think they're so happy about that statistic, though, because when you run the football at the quarterback position, you really upset the harmony of the offense and the rhythm, and plus the receivers get mad at you.
Elway has run 4 times for 18 yards this afternoon. It's 3rd and 5 for the Broncos. Elway in the shotgun. Got a man across the middle, complete to Sampson.
This could be goodbye.
Past midfield and all the way down to the 41-yard line of the Oilers. Bo Eason makes a saving tackle tackle on the play, but Sampson came wide open on the crossing pattern over the middle.
Clint Sampson, brilliant speedster, comes in the third down passing situations, usually runs the crossing pattern, and there's Elway with the big throw right on the money. Now somebody has to get a hand on this man because he is really a very fast player.
Evaded the tackle by Cush and then was taken out of bounds by Eason. They'll mark it all the way down to the 41-yard line. Sampson on the reception and has taken the Broncos into Oiler territory. 4 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the first half. Broncos lead 10-3. Here's the reverse again. They pitch it back to Elway. Got a man open. It'll be complete. Touchdown. Steve Watson. Broncos with a razzle-dazzle.
This is a flea flicker, throwing it back to Elway. Now, number 24, Steve Brown, has this play diagnosed. But the one thing he didn't figure on is the tremendous velocity of the Elway throw, and you cannot gamble with that.
Elway put it absolutely right on the money. Here's an ISO of Watson as he makes his cut. Watch the ball, and it'll be right there.
But watch Brown. He knows the play. But it's the velocity of the Elway throw that gets the job done.
Watson on the reception. First touchdown of the season for Watson. Carlos adds the extra point. And the Denver Broncos, with a couple of long pass plays, have extended their lead over the Houston Oilers. 4:10 to play first half. It's now the Broncos 17 and the Oilers
Man-to-man defense, so that when you're running the ball around in the backfield like this is the time for the receiver to do a number of things, but then start sprinting for the end zone. And as I said, Steve Brown plays the play beautifully, but it's just the magnificent arm of John Elway that makes the play successful.
Elway, the man who had to choose between a pro baseball or a pro football career, that time was right on the money, just like a baseball pitcher, and wound up and threw it for the home run, the touchdown.
Outside the Denver area, there aren't many people that know about that man's talent, Steve Watson, but he has been a very, very good player here in the Denver Broncos organization. All pro in 1981 when he caught 13 touchdowns from Temple University, a free agent. What a find for the Denver Broncos.
Carlos, barefoot kicker, will tee it up. Only 4 plays in that scoring drive to cover 82 yards. It took him just a minute with the clincher, the 41-yarder, Elway to Watson. Drury and Tasker deep for the Oilers. This is going to be Drury at the goal line. 15 across the 20. Pretty good return by Drury, and Warren Moon and company will put it in play from there. Houston had effectively stopped the passing game of the Broncos throughout the first half until that last series. What happened?
Well, quite frankly, I think they were really playing the defense the way it should have been played, but it was that man-to-man kind of coverage that put them in that position, and it makes the big play when you get a guy like Elway throwing that ball deep like that.
And the execution by Elway, I guess, had a lot to do with it, too. First and 10 from the 22 for the Houston Oilers, now down by 14. Moon will pass on first down. Completes a short pass over the middle to Woolfolk. Evades a couple of tacklers, gets to the outside, to the 40 and to the 44-yard line. Nice running after he caught the ball, which Woolfolk, the 4-year veteran out of Michigan. Mike McCloskey, a good block to spring him free.
Here's what's important for Warren Moon. Keep your poise. You have people on the football field that can score for you in one play. All you need to do is get a score here, and you're right back in the football game. Butch Woolfolk, the sprinter from Michigan, has tremendous speed. They don't want him to get outside. Woolfolk makes a big play.
First down for the Oilers at the 44-yard line in Oiler territory. 3:17 remaining, first half. Oilers down by 14. Give it to Rozier, scrambles around, comes up to midfield with a stiff arm, will be taken out of bounds right at the 50-yard line. Good running, both on the quickness to get outside and then a pretty good stiff arm.
Exceptional improvisation by number 33, Mike Rozier, discounting the theory that many people think that he can't run outside. He does have excellent quickness to the outside, and he showed it just then.
Mike Rozier, Number 2 rusher in the USFL this season before coming over to the NFL. The former Heisman winner. 16 yards has been his longest run of the season and has not carried the ball that many times. 28 carries coming into this afternoon's game. He got 6 on that last play from midfield. 2nd and 4 for the Oilers. Moon in trouble. He's sacked. Woodard, the linebacker, on the blitz, takes Moon down for a loss on the play. The first sack of the afternoon.
Ken Woodard, number 52. Doing a first-rate job, first in playing for the injured Tom Jackson, then doing it on his own. Tom, last week was burned by Miami in a play-action pass. Actually ran and caught up with Tony Nathan after he had gone 73 yards. But what's going to happen when Tom Jackson is ready to return and Woodard is playing as well as he is?
It'll be a tough battle. Woodard, 6'1", 218 pounds, 4-year veteran out of Tuskegee, playing with a bruised abdomen today. 3rd and 15 now for the Oilers. Here's Moon. Protection breaks down, and Moon goes to the turf at the 30. Rulon Jones put the hit on him this time, but he had some help. Mecklenburg was in there, and also Townsend applying the pressure. They came with a run that time, all after Moon.
The pressure has a mesmerizing effect on the quarterback. There's Moon in the pocket. He knows that there are people all around him. He's been hit. He's been hurt. He just can't take but so much of that. Warren goes down once again.
So it'll be a punting situation as Warren Moon goes to the Oilers sideline. Vance Johnson, single safety for the Broncos. 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first half.
What a kick.
Johnson is immediately swamped after taking the kick at about the 14-yard line. Tasker and Drury downfield on the coverage for the Oilers. Johnson with another terrific kick had covered 55 yards. Johnson has found the thin air of Denver to his liking, and of course he's used to this atmosphere, I guess. Played at BYU out here in the Western Athletic Conference, used to the Rocky Mountain air. Warren Moon, just when it appeared they had the offense cranked up, sacked twice on that last drive to take them out of field position and forcing the punt. With 2 minutes, 7 seconds, we'll have about one play before we have the 2-minute warning here in the first half. Spot the ball at the Broncos' 13-yard line. Elway last time took only 4 plays to cover 82 yards. First down pass. Dropped behind Watson, and he couldn't handle it. Clock stops with 2 minutes, 3 seconds remaining in the first half, so we'll get another play before the 2-minute warning. Steve Brown on the coverage for the Oilers.
Surprised to see Elway throwing the football here this deep in his own territory. Watson has a chance at it, but good coverage by the Oilers secondary.
I threw it behind Watson that time, and Brown on the good coverage. 2nd and 10. 3 ticks of the clock remaining before the 2-minute warning. Elway again rolls to his right. Complete for a first down. And a flag goes down after the reception by Johnson. Could have been a late hit or a face mask here.
I don't think they like what number 53, Avon Riley, did after the catch.
Be a personal foul call against the Oilers.
Here it is. Here's Elway. Once again, you can't cover when he is rolling out. And he has that great arm. All the receiver needs is just a step or two in front of the defense. He makes the catch, and there you see the penalty.
Late hit against Avon Riley. We've got the 2-minute warning. Broncos lead. The Houston Oilers continue to play into the hands of the Denver Broncos. Been called for 7 penalties, 82 yards. The Broncos have been assessed only 20 yards in penalties. Elway, after a slow start, now has hit 5 of 15 for 111 yards and a touchdown. He's going to pass here. He's blindsided and taken down on the sack by Frank Bush. First sack of the afternoon for the Houston Oilers defense.
Elway had plenty of time to throw once again, but the coverage was excellent downfield, and fortunately for John Elway, he has the presence of mind to put this ball away, because coming from the right of the screen was Frank Bush, and this could have easily been a fumble.
Bush on the sack, loss of 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 15 for the Broncos. They lead 17-3, minute and a half to play in the first half. Some time, loses the ball, flags down, out of bounds. It'll be Denver's football, but a loss on the play as Elway dropped it under pressure again from Frank Bush.
There was a clipping penalty on Bush, number 94. Someone hit Bush from behind. I wasn't able to get the number.
Looks like it was Vance Johnson maybe.
Watch number 94 here on your screen. It's number 47.
There was no infraction on the play. Consequently, third.
Wait a minute now.
No infraction on the play. Will Height, it looked like, might have been guilty of the clip. Did you see Elway there as he dropped the ball? He was chasing it down. He finally just batted it out of bounds. He knew if it went out of bounds, it would remain Denver's football. Good presence of mind by Elway to just bat the ball safely out of bounds instead of trying to pick it up and perhaps fumbling it again.
Now, the only time that clipping isn't called or illegal block is in the tackle-to-tackle box. That was clearly a block behind the back of Frank Bush. I don't understand why they picked the flag up.
Flag went immediately down, but they ruled it off. Will Height perhaps got away with one there. It'll be 3rd and 25 for the Denver Broncos now. They're in the shotgun, and the blitz coming. Will Height gets it on the delay, on the draw, and gets a few yards before he's stopped by John Grimsley, the linebacker. And the Mile High fans didn't like the conservative play calling, but 3rd and long, it made sense with a 17-3 lead. Let's check the other late games. Halftime, Raiders by 7 over Kansas City. Seattle has gone behind San Diego. They had a 6-0 lead. Now San Diego 7-6 at halftime.
Jimmy, run.
Minute 6 remaining in the first half, and it looks like the Oilers have taken a timeout to stop the clock. We'll continue with the scores. 3rd period now at Riverfront Stadium. The Jets with a 1-point lead over the Bengals. And halftime, the Rams unbeaten 6-0 over the Vikings.
Tom, this has been the blueprint for 85 for the Houston Oilers. Despite the fact that they haven't played well in a lot of areas, they still find themselves in the thick of the ball game. You've got 1 minute 6 seconds left here. They should get pretty decent field position here with this return. And I would think that Warren Moon has an opportunity to put some points on the board, preferably 3 points if at all possible.
Hope you'll stay with us for NFL 85 at halftime. The Houston Oilers, a record of 1-3. You remember they opened the season with a great win over the defending AFC champion Miami Dolphins at the Astrodome. They lost a controversial game to the Washington Redskins 16-13, had 2 touchdowns which should have counted, called back in that one. Then Pittsburgh blew them out 20-0, and of course they lost to Dallas, a 7-point decision a week ago. This one is shanked as the flag goes down. They may be roughing the kicker.
They're going to have to pick the flag up because he got a piece of the ball.
Briel was in on the pressure as Norman got the kick away, and it's going to be against the Houston Oilers. Let's watch it again.
Let's take a look at it. I'm not so sure that he didn't get a piece of that ball. And of course, if he touches the football and then touches the kicker, there should be no penalty.
I think they're going to rule, Reggie, that he just shanked the ball, that the Oilers didn't touch the football, and so it would be roughing the kicker. That's apparently the ruling. Let's listen to Jerry Seaman.
Personal foul. Running into the kicker. Number 92. Defense. First down.
So Briel is guilty of running into the kicker. Hugh Campbell didn't like the call. And it gives the Broncos a first down with 1 minute 1 second remaining on the clock for the first half. So the Oilers, as you said, expecting to get decent field position and a chance to perhaps get some points on the board before halftime, come back with their defensive unit, and it's the Broncos that have the ball. Elway on first down. In trouble. Releases it to Winder. Out of the backfield, Winder on the reception, a gain of about 4 yards. Steve Brown covers for Houston. Here's Brown. Tied for second in the AFC is Brown with 3 interceptions as Sammy Winder took the pass out of the backfield. No huddle for the Broncos. They'll go 2nd and 5 from their own 39. They lead 17-3. Elway out of the pocket decides to run. He'll go out of bounds for a first down at his own 45-yard line. Good presence of mind by Elway. Had his eye right on the first down marker. Jumped right out of bounds as soon as he had picked up first down yardage.
Didn't really want to risk throwing that football that time because the Oilers were in a good zone defense. They had that portion of the field defense very well. and Elway chose to run out of bounds. Of course, coming up at halftime, NFL 85.
Bob Costas, Ahmad Rashad, Pete Axthelm standing by to bring you scores and highlights and all the other halftime activities we look forward to on NFL 85.
You can tell that Reeves isn't too comfortable with this lead of his because he is trying to get some more points. It's 17-3 right now, and they're trying to get some more.
This Bronco offense can strike in a hurry, as we saw a few moments ago when they covered 82 yards in 4 plays in 1 minute. Elway again has a completion close to the first down to Will Height. Will Height taken down at the 45-yard line of Houston, right at the first down marker. Keith Bostic makes 20 seconds remaining in the first half. They're trying to maneuver down here into field goal range for Rich Carlos. And are getting pretty close to that territory. About one more first down will put them in range.
Carlos had been, what, 13 of 13 until he tried one from 52 yards and he missed it. I think, realistically speaking, the Broncos need about 10 more yards in order to attempt another field goal by Carlos.
And they have only 20 seconds to try to get into range for Carlos. Elway, after a slow start, has been coming on here in the latter stages of the second quarter. Broncos with 1 timeout remaining. And they can, of course, use that timeout to get Carlos onto the field if need be. From the shotgun. Shovel pass, Will Height. Breaks the tackle to the 30, down to the 25-yard line. Will Height with the shovel pass. Rod Cush makes the stop, but a Denver first down, and now definitely in field goal range. They stop the clock with 13 seconds.
Will Height has not been carrying the ball from scrimmage, but he has been utilized on a lot of the little trick plays like the shovel pass, passes out of the backfield. Here he is, once again, number 47. He makes a great play right in here because he broke 1 tackle. Now he has excellent speed in the open field. The Broncos have excellent position for a Rich Carlos field goal attempt.
13 seconds left. Will Height on that shovel pass reception, 5'10", 200 pounds, his 8th reception of the season. He's a 4-year veteran out of San Jose State. Dan Reeves huddling with his quarterback, John Elway. You mentioned yesterday when we went to the Bronco practice that Danny Reeves had a unique relationship with Coach Tom Landry at Dallas.
Yeah, of all of the players who were in the Dallas system during the years that I was there, none of them corrected or interrupted Tom Landry with the exception of Danny Reeves, whether it be Staubach, Morton, or anybody else. He was so knowledgeable at the time as a player that even Tom Landry at that point in his career respected what he said.
Dan Reeves has gone on to success as a head coach here in Denver. 36 wins, 25 losses. His team won the AFC West a year ago. John Elway now has hit 8 of 18 this afternoon, 146 yards and a touchdown. Again, closing in on that 200-yard mark. He would be perfect in every game this season in that category if he can attain it. Right now at 146, 1st and 10, Oiler 25. Elway hit as he releases it. It's going to be picked off. So the Broncos gamble with 1 more play rather than getting Carlos in to kick the field goal, and they come up empty on the interception as Elway let it go just as he was hit.
Well, of course, they criticized Dan Reeves last week for going for a field goal. This time, he was trying to improve his position. He was trying to get 6, knowing that if he missed, he could come back and attempt a field goal. But the outstanding play of the Houston secondary is responsible for this. Now he's going to a man who's actually double covered, Tom. As you watch in the lower right-hand portion of your screen, that's double coverage, and Rod Cush makes the interception.
Cush with the interception, his first of the season, and it was Jesse Baker putting the pressure on Elway on the other end, and Cush broke perfectly to make the interception. The Oilers will run out the clock, 3 seconds left. 2-1, and that'll be the end of the first half here at Denver. Coach Hugh Campbell and his Oilers leaving the field after dodging a bullet there on the last series of the half. It's Denver leading 17-3. The Houston Oilers hurt by penalties in the first half. They would really be in the game if it had not been for the penalties. Denver and Dan Reeves got their offense cranked up toward the end of the half, but aside from the penalties, it's been fairly even.
It sure has, and Denver didn't really get things going until they allowed John Elway to go outside the normal traditional kind of play calling, the alley-oop passes, the razzle-dazzle, and the touchdown to Watson. That's when Denver became effective.
First quarter woes continue to plague the Oilers. They still have not scored any points in the first quarter, and they were down at the end of the first quarter today. Got a field goal on the board in the first half, but they're down 14 at intermission. The Denver Broncos playing at home, Mile High Stadium, with a 17-3 lead. It'll be taken by Drury at the goal line. To the 20, gets outside for a moment to the 25-yard line. Pretty good return by Drury. Stop on the play made by Daniel Hunter of the Broncos on the special teams. And the Oilers will put it in play from their own 25-yard line. We talked about keys to the game as we began this afternoon. And Reggie, what about the Oilers' key to the game? They've not been able to execute, have they?
Well, there was only one time in the first half when they did gain 4 and 5 yards on first down. It made the series a lot more effective for them. They have not gotten that yardage on first down. Consequently, they've been under siege all afternoon.
Formation for the Houston Oilers. Warren Moon again at quarterback. Handoff goes to Woolfolk. Tries to get outside, does slip a couple of tackles, and comes up to the 30-yard line. Gain on the play of about 5 yards, and Woolfolk did it mostly on his own.
When you have an objective like gaining 4 or 5 yards on first down so that you can control the line of scrimmage, sometimes you have to do it very workmanlike. It's not always going to be an easy thing to do, but runners like Woolfolk, Moriarty, and Rozier, they have to do it on first down.
Let's pause now briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
KOAA TV, channels 5 and 30, serving southern Colorado.
Tom Hammond and Reggie Rucker, Mile High Stadium in Denver. The Broncos leading the Houston Oilers 17-3 as we begin play in the second half. The Oilers will have it 2nd and 4 from their own 31-yard line. Mike Rozier in the game at a tailback spot. Moriarty is the up back in the I formation. Wide receivers to either side for Warren Moon. Busted play. Moon taken down at the line of scrimmage.
You have that pyramid effect. Part of the pyramid crumbles, then the whole thing collapses. You had an outstanding gain on first down. Now you have a busted play. You come back, instead of being 2nd and 2, you're 3rd and 5. You're facing the nickel defense. They haven't had success against it all day.
Jim Ryan made the stop for the Broncos. It will be 3rd and 5 from their own 30-yard line. Warren Moon at quarterback. He's got Woolfolk and Moriarty, the running backs. Hill, Smith, and Williams as receivers. He's sacked, taken down on a blitz by Harden, who came flying from a safety spot to the 3rd sack of the afternoon for the Broncos.
Doesn't take a space scientist to recognize what's going on. The Houston Oilers and Moon and company just do not pick up the safety blitzes or the outside blitzes at all. And the objective of the Denver Broncos defense is to put them in passing situations, and you see what happens.
25th sack of the season given up by the Oilers, and that is 2nd worst in the National Football League. Lee Johnson's done a good job for the Oilers today. He's in punt formation. Will Height, the lone safety for the Broncos. Will Height fields it, takes it to the 40-45, and just short of midfield. Another good return by Will Height. Stop made by Mike Q on the special teams for the Houston Oilers. 44-yard punt. Pretty good return, though, and the Broncos again have good field position, 7-yard return. What about the Broncos' key to the game? They have executed fairly well, getting those rushing yards from Winder.
They've been somewhat effective. The Houston Oilers have played them off their feet, really. They've mastered what the Broncos do well, and I expect to see John Elway go back to giving the ball to Sammy Winder.
Elway will put it in the air, first down. Got his man wide open, complete to the tight end, Kay, who's taken down at the 38-yard line by Grimsley, the linebacker. But in the middle of the field, Kay was wide open. Elway starting to really heat up on his passing game now. Seemed to catch fire toward the end of the first half and comes out smoking here in the second half, hitting his first attempt for a first down into Oiler territory. Mark it at the 38-yard line of Houston. 1st and 10 for the Broncos, who lead 17-3. We played 2.5 minutes of the second half. Kay goes in motion. Pitch it back, Winder. Or is it Lang? It's Lang on the carry. It doesn't get much. Frank Bush comes up to take him down. Avon Riley is there to put the hammer on as well. Bush coming in for the injured Meads early in the game has done a good job.
He's been very effective. The rookie from North Carolina State. Not big, about 218 pounds, but he's very quick. The one thing about these Oiler linebackers is that they do have very good quickness.
Well, as we reflect back on our keys to the game, actually neither team doing that well on what we thought would be keys to the game today, running the ball, especially on first down. But the Broncos give evidence of getting their passing game cranked up. 2nd and 9. This will be a run again, and again, not much there as Winder is taken down by Childress.
One thing you like to see is you like to see your #1 draft choices play well. And Ray Childress has been an outstanding find for this football team. Winder once again can't go anywhere because Childress, number 79, good quickness, is in the backfield before the blocking develops.
He almost just came free. Did they have a stunt on or just individual effort?
I think that he is such an awesome player. He's very big, 6'7", 265 or so. He has great strength, and he's just a determined athlete.
3rd down, 10 yards to go for the Broncos. From the shotgun, Elway. Plenty of time. That'll be a collision and an interference call. Obvious interference. Eason coming up just didn't give Watson a chance to field the ball at all.
Fortunately for Watson, he has this interference call because Watson was looking back into the sun. Didn't really see the ball. Elway fired a bullet. Watch it here. You can see how brilliant the field looks. That's because Watson, number 71, is looking right back into the sun. He gets hit right there a little bit. For that matter, Bo Eason didn't see the ball either.
Hit him just a little bit. Well, Reggie, here we see again, the Oilers making a key penalty that keeps the Denver drive alive. The pattern repeating itself just as it had in the first half.
And that's going to happen to a young, overly aggressive football team. You're going to get those penalties.
2 drives that resulted in scores in the first half were aided by key Oiler penalties. This one could wind up the same way. Elway got a man. Wilhite can't handle it, incomplete. Elway had him, not pleased with himself.
If I'm going to throw that kind of pass, I'm going to put the receiver on the left side of the field because he won't be looking back into the sun. Watch Wilhite now. Fine move by Wilhite, who makes an out move and then turns it up. Elway looking downfield, now switches back to Wilhite. Now Wilhite, I don't believe, can see this ball in the sun. He doesn't make a good adjustment on the pass in the air.
He had the linebacker Lyles beaten badly, but the pass not there. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 18 of Houston. Denver hoping to add to a 17-3 lead. 10:47 to play 3rd quarter from Mile High Stadium in Denver. Elway fires, complete, 1st down. Johnson to the 5 and out of bounds. Blitz Johnson, 9-year veteran out of California Riverside, making the reception before Allen and Eason knock him out of bounds.
Here's the pattern by Johnson, who breaks the pattern off because it's a blitz. Now the Denver Broncos offensive line and backs do a fine job of picking up the people, and they block them, and Elway is able to get the pass off.
Eason really put the hit on him there. He punished him, but
take a look at the blocking right here. See the good blocking? The Oilers are bringing everybody, and they give Elway the vision, and he hits the pass to Johnson.
The wily veteran Johnson shaking a tackle there to get a couple of more yards. Put it at the 6-yard line. 1st and goal for the Broncos from that point. Watson goes in motion. Elway fakes, goes to his left. Plenty of time. Touchdown. Kay, the tight end. Getting plenty of protection, found Kay wide open.
And it's holding on the Oilers. Of course, it will be refused. He has all day to look for a receiver. Clarence Kay standing all alone in the end zone.
The Oilers appear to be especially vulnerable in the middle of their pass coverage today.
Well, they're playing that zone down there, and they had a lot of people in coverage, but Elway simply had too much time to throw.
Is this a change in philosophy? They played so much man-to-man defense earlier in the season.
Well, I'm sure they're trying to mix it up a bit for Elway.
Carlos hits the extra point, and the Broncos have scored on their first possession of the 2nd half. Timeout, 10:30. Carlos sends it deep to Tasker and Drury. This time Tasker gathers it in, about the 3. Pounces off a tackler, now gets to the outside. And finally skips down the sideline to the 34-yard line before he's taken out by Tony Lilly. Last scoring drive by the Broncos, first possession of the 2nd half. 7 plays, covered 51 yards, 2.5 minutes. The clincher, a 6-yard pass, John Elway to Clarence Kay. And that time the Broncos looked very sharp.
Houston is going to have to get the ball into the hands of some people that can start to make things happen, Tom. They've got to get Tasker and AQ and Drew Hill. They've got to get the ball to those people that can score.
Oilers again with a penalty helped that last Denver drive, but the Broncos look sharp. Now the Oilers have to get something on the board. They're going to go deep, and it's going to be way off the mark. Tim Smith was downfield, but the pass too long. With Denver leading 24-3, let's go to Bob Costas, NFL 85.
Tom, at Cincinnati in the third quarter, it's now 19-13 Jets. They're looking for 6, but they settle for 2. Louis Breeden picks the ball off, but it's not his momentum that carries him into the end zone, the officials say. Too many steps. It's a safety for the Jets. Tom?
All right, Bob, 24-3 here. The Broncos scoring on their first possession of the second half, and now the pressure on the Oilers. 2nd and 10 from their own 33. Need to make something happen offensively. Broncos show blitz. Moon has time, incomplete. Good hit that time on the defense to break it up, with Steve Wilson hitting at just the right time to knock the ball loose. Let's check other scores around the NFL now in the late games. Third quarter, Raiders up 13-3 on the Chiefs. 13-7, Seattle leads San Diego. Seahawks come back. There's the score Bob Costas just gave you in the third quarter at Riverfront. And in the fourth, the Rams bidding to stay unbeaten, 13-7 over the Vikings. 3rd and 10 now for the Houston Oilers.
Watch the blitz.
Moon, complete across the middle. Woolfolk shakes a tackler, gets a first down.
They go all the way.
To the 30. Away from another man, to the 5.
My goodness.
Touchdown. What a great run by Butch Woolfolk, 67 yards after the pass reception.
See, Tom, this game isn't so hard. All you have to do is get the football to people that can score for you in one play. Woolfolk did it earlier this year, catching an 80-yard touchdown against the Dolphins, and once again, in the open field with the great sprinter speed, you can't let a man like this get to the outside. And this has been the problem plaguing the Denver Broncos defense all year, Tom. As you know, they have given up big plays, which has allowed the opponent to get back in the football game.
That is as fine a run as you're going to see anywhere. Woolfolk did everything. Extra point is good. Zendejas hits it, and Houston answers the Denver score with a touchdown of its own. Timeout, 9:56 remaining, third quarter. Broncos 24, Oilers. Touchdown after that scintillating reception and run by Woolfolk. What did you say about keys to the game?
Throw the old keys out, and the new keys are catch up as quickly as possible.
60-yard run by Butch Woolfolk, and a tremendous run. He did everything. He broke to the outside. He used his speed. He put a move on one potential tackler. He broke a tackle. He used his blocker in one instance, and it was just a magnificent run. And we'll see if that gives Houston some momentum. They still trail, of course, in the game with 9:56 to play in the third quarter. Here's the kickoff by Houston. Taken deep in the end zone, and they won't come out with it. So the Broncos will put it in play from their own 20. Let's take another look at that Butch Woolfolk run after the pass reception. It was a beauty.
And the thing about this kind of play is that you don't have to throw the ball a great distance. Just get it to the man who can use his feet and run for long distances.
Butch Woolfolk with a tremendous run after the pass reception. It covered 67 yards. It took 37 seconds in 3 plays. 67 yards, the pass and run by Woolfolk. 24-10. The deficit reduced to 14 again. Winder trying to get outside. Stopped for no gain on the play as the Houston pursuit comes off to cut up the run by Winder. Lyles, Riley right there, and
well, they've thrown a flag here, and I don't agree with the official for throwing that flag because there was no harm, there was no foul, and I believe that teams like the Oilers, who haven't had a tradition of winning over the years like Miami and Pittsburgh, they get the short end of the stick in so many instances.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 93, defense, out of bounds, first down.
It's just not a good call at this point in the football game.
Robert Lyles called for the personal foul. And again, look at those yards penalized. That's been one of the keys today, those crucial penalties for the Oilers, not only in number of yards, 132, but the time they have come. They've kept Denver drives alive time and again.
An all-star team couldn't overcome those penalties.
From the 35-yard line, Broncos with the ball in their own territory, 1st and 10. Elway fakes on the play action. Plenty of time. Dumps it off, complete. Kay spinning and stops short of the first down by about a yard. Riley on the stop for the Houston Oilers. 9-yard gain on the play. Clarence Kay has caught more passes today than he had all season coming into the game. In fact, had a career high against Miami last week with 4 receptions, 33 yards.
Elway picking up on his numbers now, 12 out of 24, 187 yards.
Closing in on another 200-yard performance. 2nd and 2, getting an 8-yard gain on that last completion. This will be Lang, and he'll get the first down across the 45-yard line. Lyles makes the stop from an outside linebacker spot for the Houston Oilers.
Let's go back and take another look at that Bill Bryan, Mike Stensrud matchup in the center of your screen. 67, Stensrud actually gets rid of Bryan, but Bryan doesn't quit on the block, stays with the block, and they pick up a first down. It's been an interesting battle inside all day.
First down for the Broncos, 46-yard line of Denver. A split second too soon. Is that what? 4 interference calls today against the Oilers?
Well, they said the Oilers were young and they were aggressive. Brown was remonstrating with the officials about the contact there, and I think he overdid it. They've thrown another flag. That's probably unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, the Oilers setting a record for futility in the penalty department today. And the interference calls have been especially costly. Here's Jerry Seaman, the referee.
Pass interference, number 24, defense, unsportsmanlike conduct, taking the flag, number 21, defense, first down.
Well, Eason kicked the flag after the interference by Brown.
Well, there's no excuse to lose your composure on the football field. The Houston Oilers, whether you know it or not, are still in this football game. Now, there's the shot by Steve Brown. All right, that's a good penalty, and the flag should have been thrown. Now, Eason should not have come behind that and incurred the personal foul.
So the Broncos again in great field position, 33-yard line of the Oilers after the 2 penalties. Winder changes course, gets a yard or 2. Lyles, Riley, Grimsley, almost the whole linebacking corps for the Oilers, combining to plug up that middle. Here's how the scoring has gone. Remember, Houston has been outscored 54-0 in the first quarter this season. They were down 10-0 after 1 today. And the Broncos have been in command ever since. They lead 24-10. 7:45 remaining third quarter. 2nd and 6 for the Broncos. Play action. Elway for the end zone. Knocked down by Brown. Watson, the intended receiver. That time Brown timed it perfectly to bat the ball away.
The way the cornerbacks of the Oilers play defense, they offer a very inviting challenge to the quarterback to throw the ball deep. There's Elway's fake. Now he's going to take the challenge. Brown is covering on the right side. Now watch him come through your screen, up in the air. Good defense. Number 24, Steve Brown.
The Oiler coaches think that Steve Brown and Patrick Allen are quarterbacks of the future, that they really are going to be 2 of the top corner men in the business. Right now, Brown a little shaken up on the play. The way they're massaging his calf, it looks like it might just be a cramp. Maybe nothing more serious than that.
This may give us an opportunity to see the Houston Oilers' second number 1 pick in the first round, which would be cornerback Richard Johnson.
Look at the disparity in first downs this afternoon.
First downs are the key to drive continuity. They keep drives going. The Oilers have 7. They don't have any continuity on their offense today.
9 of those Bronco first downs have come from Houston penalties. That's 39% of their first downs via Houston penalties. The Oilers killing themselves, and Denver taking advantage of it. Elway reads the blitz, dumps it off quick. Reception, perhaps more to Vance Johnson. Touchdown, Johnson. A 29-yard reception and run. Vance Johnson on receipt of the bomb from Elway.
This, they feel, will be the next great pass-catch combination in Denver. John Elway to Vance Johnson, the speedster from Arizona. Look at him tiptoe down the sideline. Boy, he's going to get a nickname of Twinkle Toes if he keeps doing that.
He broke a tackle, too. Patrick Allen was wrapped around, and he broke free of that tackle, which enabled him to go down the sideline for the touchdown. Denver scores again. Broncos heating up the offense now. Carlos tacks on the extra point, and the Broncos go in front 31-10. Timeout, 7:27 remaining third quarter. It's all Broncos here in Denver. They lead Houston 31-10. Rich Carlos ready to kick off for Denver after the Broncos score on the nice run by Vance Johnson after the reception from Elway. This one's going to sail all the way to the back corner of the end zone where Drury fields it and steps out of bounds at the end of the end zone. So they'll put it in play at the 20. Let's go to Bob Costas. NFL 80. Of course, that game in Los Angeles, important to the Denver Broncos, who are on the verge of winning here 31-10. If they can make it hold up, they'll go 3-2 on the season. They're right in that AFC West race. Oilers send Rozier in motion. Moon in trouble. Got away from one man, but is taken down after a 4-yard gain. Moon showed some pretty good scrambling ability there to hang in there tough, evaded a tackle or two, and got 4 yards out of it.
Warren Moon was under so much pressure last week, sacked 12 times, so much physical abuse that he canceled a root canal appointment that he had with his dentist this week, saying, hey, I've had enough pain in 1 week.
That would be awful to have a root canal after being sacked 12 times in one game.
And he's not well now. As you can see, he's limping and he's hurting.
2nd and 6 for the Oilers, who trail 31-10. Almost intercepted. That was Jackson that got a hand on it and knocked it down. And listen to the hand from the 75,000 at Mile High. They love him. There's Tom Jackson, a veteran, 13 years out of the University of Louisville. Sounds like he's an inspiration not only to his teammates, but to the fans here in Denver.
But his name will certainly go into this Hall of Fame ring that they have around the stadium once he retires. He is a legend here in Denver.
Coming back off injured reserve just this game after having arthroscopic surgery on his arthritic right knee. 3rd and 6, Oilers. Moon in trouble. Finally taken down after he evaded a couple of tackles. He is sacked for the 4th time this afternoon. Dennis Smith was the man that gets credit for the sack that time on a safety blitz.
This looks worse than Custer's last stand at this point. He is having all kinds of trouble seeing people, finding some place to throw. Everywhere you look, there's an orange-shirted Denver Bronco.
And here's how it looked in the secondary as they came with the blitz.
This is why he can't find anybody open. You see how they jam all of the receivers, push them into the center of the field. Moon doesn't have anyone to throw to.
Punting situation again for the Oilers.
This is Johnson.
And his momentum carries him out of bounds. He had some green space in front, but his momentum on fielding the ball took him out of bounds at about the 40-yard line of Denver. So the Broncos again with good field position. 6:02 remaining in the third quarter, and the Broncos leading 31-10. Defense knows. All coming up, followed by the long hot summer on NBC tonight. Elway's pass deflected at the line of scrimmage and picked off by Houston. Bostic made the interception. He's still on his feet. Fighting his way down into Bronco territory, short of the 25-yard line. Stensrud apparently got a hand on it at the line of scrimmage, and it was Bostic that came up with it.
Keith Bostic, ordinarily the strong safety, now playing the cornerback because of the problems that Steve Brown is having with injury. Gets up. Now watch this run. You think he's given up? No, he really hasn't. This is quite a run, quite a determined effort to get this football into the end zone by Keith Bostic. And I don't agree with the way they handle him out of bounds here.
Would have been a penalty against the Broncos, but no call. And the substitution for the Oilers coming into the game, making his first appearance, is Mike Morosky, 6'4", 203 pounds, 7-year veteran out of California. Davis has come in to replace Moon at quarterback. He's attempted only 3 passes this season, has hit on 2 of them for a total of 9 yards. Morosky will put it up immediately and completes his first attempt to Williams, the tight end, who carries it all the way down to the Bronco 10.
Sometimes in a football game in which things get totally out of control, one team has a tendency to relax. Now, if the Oilers score here, you've got a 31-17 ball game, a quarter and a half almost to play, and they're only 2 touchdowns down.
Quarterback comparison is Moon, number 1 on the sideline for Houston. He was 8 of 17, 122 yards, sacked 4 times. And you saw that Elway, after a slow start, has really been heating up. Right now, Morosky at the controls for the Oilers. Give to Moriarty. Doesn't get a thing. Stopped at the line of scrimmage.
And I agree with this move by Hugh Campbell. They do it in baseball. Why not do it in football? If your number 1 guy is having problems, he can't get it done, you've got another quarterback over there. Maybe the change in chemistry might help your offensive fortunes.
Play being wig-wagged into the game. Of course, Hugh Campbell's team has nothing to lose, down 31-10, and Moon a little banged up. Why not bring the relief pitcher in and let him try his hand? 2nd and 10 from the 10-yard line. It appears that the Oilers could get a first down without scoring. Morosky almost intercepted. Jim Ryan had it right in his hands and couldn't hold it.
Well, if you're a relief pitcher, you sure can't throw hanging curveballs when you come into the ball game. And that's exactly what Morosky throws here. He is very, very fortunate here. Throws the ball to the outside. Nearly picked off by Jim Ryan.
He had 2 chances at it and couldn't hold on to it. As a former receiver, what do you have to say about the hands of defensive players?
I don't like them.
Like rocks sometimes,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
3rd down, 10 yards to go for the Oilers. 4.5 minutes, 3rd quarter. Broncos lead by 21. Morosky. Complete, but well short of the goal line to Chris Gressel. Gressel, the tight end, makes the reception, but only down to about the 9-yard line. Short gain.
And I think that Campbell has to go for 7 points here. And Mecklenburg came into this game being the top sacker in the AFC. And I'll tell you what, Harvey Salem is doing a job on him.
Reggie, what about this? Zendejas has come into the game and down 31-10. Houston's going to go for a field goal.
Oh, I don't agree with the call at all. I really don't. 31-13, you have to score 3 times to win.
It'll be just a chip shot. It'll be a 26-yarder for Zendejas. And it's good. So Houston does get 3, but they're still way behind on the scoreboard. Timeout, 3:38 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Houston pulls 3 points closer, but the Broncos still up 31-13.
I kind of question that call, Tom, because, as I said...
Look now, AFC West has expected a dogfight. The late game's not yet over, but Denver looks to be right in the thick of things.
It appears Denver will be in a tie, of course, with Kansas City and Seattle. In the Central Division of the American Football Conference, Cleveland Browns are a surprise leader.
And Houston, of course, in that division, currently occupying the cellar. The 1-3 record coming into today. And behind here, Elway is going for 6. Sampson can't get it. Richard Johnson, the rookie, running right with Sampson, but the pass off the mark. In fact, Sampson turned one way, turned back the other way, and never could get a bead on it.
It appeared that Sampson did break the pattern. Look at the total yards. That's where the big difference is, because the Broncos have capitalized as a result of being in terrific field position most of the day. Of course, in this instance, time of possession is almost misleading.
And we don't want to be redundant, but the key penalties against the Oilers have been very costly today. Denver Broncos showing us much more offensive firepower here in the second half after sputtering a little bit to open the game. 3rd and 1 on this situation.
Whoa.
And Winder is met and cracked right at the line of scrimmage.
Anytime you have a short yardage situation like that and you send your running back right smack dab in the heat of the battle, watch the middle guard. He really neutralizes the charge of the offensive line. And a great play there by Leidy.
Alan Leidy, just 5'10", 186 pounds, but
he put it all in that
the hole and really did put every inch and pound into that stop.
They're going for it here.
4th and 1 for the Broncos. 39-yard line of the Oilers. 14:40 to play in the football game. Broncos in command. 31-13.
There's a great place for a pass, Tom. A great place for a pass.
See what Elway does.
Oh, no.
There was a mix-up. Elway is trying to scramble out of it as flags fly. There's no coordination at all at the effort. It looks like the man in motion was confused about to what his role should be, James Wright. And then Elway got the snap and apparently wasn't expecting it.
I think Houston's going to get this football. Now, let's see if a Houston Oilers player comes across the line there. Yes, good move by Bill Bryant. Now, he wasn't supposed to snap that football.
Defense.
But because he has the experience, he's been around long enough to know, he snapped that football when he had that Oiler across the line of scrimmage. That's a good play.
It was indeed, and the Oilers obviously don't agree. Avon Riley is very hot over the call. You saw the tight end, James Wright, who came in motion, start to go into his block right on the tight end spot, and then stop because the ball hadn't been snapped yet. And then the center, Bryan, saw the man in the neutral zone and snapped it. And I'll tell you what, there are several Oilers upset over that call. That's Leidy.
I wonder if some folks haven't been ejected from the contest.
Apparently so, and we're going to step off yardage against the Oilers, and a lot of it. Been one of those days for Hugh Campbell and the Oilers.
Because of the emotionalism involved in this sport in particular, those fellas out there with the striped shirts won't tolerate any unsportsmanlike conduct.
Now check the penalties. 173 yards. That'd be good for the running game of the Oilers.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Now, with the defense obviously incensed here, does Elway go for a quick 6 in this situation?
No, put the ball on the ground.
Flags again as Lang spins his way down to the 10-yard line. Let's see if we can sort out these penalties. This apparently will be against the Broncos.
I don't know if we'll be able to detect the holding, but I think it occurred on the left side of your screen with the takedown there.
Number 64, offense.
Glenn High.
Still first down.
Called against Billy Bryan.
Sorry, Billy Bryan.
Was that a makeup call?
I think so. I was just getting ready to say that, Tom. You beat me to it.
They'll move it back to the 30-yard line, actually to the 29, where the Broncos will have it 1st and 20.
I think Hugh Campbell is going to have to address all of the penalties that we've seen here today.
Elway. Dropped by Wilhite. As a former receiver, I don't know that you ever dropped one. I'm sure you didn't.
Now and then.
But what causes that? A ball right in your hands? Do you just lack of concentration?
You take for granted that you're going to make the catch, and instead of looking the ball into your body so that you've secured the catch, you start thinking about what's going on upfield, and you just simply run away from the football.
That one cost the Broncos a down?
I think I did that once.
Just one time. 2nd and 20 for Elway and company. 31-13 the score. 13 and a half minutes left. There are the stats on Elway for today. And again, over 200 yards. Pocket moves as Elway rolls. Intercepted.
The other lateral.
Riley looks for someone to throw it to. Now they punished a man. He punished Wilhite, and he's going to get flagged for that. blood currently between these two teams. You wouldn't think that they practiced together up at Greeley, Colorado the last 2 or 3 years. They know each other pretty well, but a lot of bad blood today.
And the Oilers are allowing themselves to become discombobulated. They're losing their poise.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 53, intercepting team.
Now, Reggie, let me ask you something. How can you be too rough if you're about to be tackled and you dip your shoulder and hit the man? How can that be too rough?
I never knew it was illegal, Tom, to throw a shot to protect yourself once you have the football. You are allowed to use one arm to defend yourself when you are the ball carrier, and only at that time. Now watch 53, Avon Riley coming right here on Will Height. Oh, no. How can you call a penalty on that play?
I don't know if I've ever seen a ball carrier be penalized for unnecessary roughness. In any event, it will be 1st and 10 from the 17 for the Houston Oilers.